Alright friends, welcome back again to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. Our YouTube channel is dedicated to helping you improve your skill at Bannerlord through the use of advanced tactics. We're continuing this series of freestyle videos in which we face unusual circumstances and we adapt to unusual enemy behavior with the advanced tactics, essentially rolling out a bunch of different tactics based upon what the enemy does in unscripted battles where the unexpected happens. And I'm hoping that these battles help people really develop their tool bag tricks. This is merely a primer that I'm going to include at the beginning of these videos so you know what this series is all about. Alright folks, welcome back to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. Our YouTube channel is dedicated to helping you improve your skill at Bannerlord through the use of advanced tactics. And speaking of tactics, today we've got a battle that people have been requesting to see for a while, and that's an open field battle against the Khuzaits. Now, depending on the map layout here, it may not actually be an open field, and if that's the case, we're going to include this as part of our freestyle series, which is a series of videos designed to help show you essentially using your tool bags, your tactical tool bag of tricks, depending on the circumstances in a wide variety of ways. Right? You want a large tool bag. The larger your tool bag of tactics, the more able you are going to be to handle whatever the enemy throws at you. So I'm showing you my 3rd Cavalry and my 2nd Cavalry. Both of these units in this instance are going to be set up specially. My 2nd has decreased melee damage and my 3rd does more damage to troops. And that's because we're going to try to trap the Khuzait around these rocks to the left here. So setting up archers behind a ring of 1st Infantry. And then what we're going to do is we're going to stick the 6th and the 8th Corps on this left flank. Basically protected somewhat by these rocks. Right, and on this side here, if the enemy comes over on this flank, what we're going to do is allow them to come over. As soon as they basically start to pass the threshold of that rocks, we will bring cavalry in behind them and trap them while our 6th and 8th Corps, these savages, annihilate them. If the enemy doesn't circle us in this battlefield, that's why we're going to include this in our freestyle series. We're going to deploy tactics that are appropriate for whatever the enemy does. I want this series to be sort of shoot from the hip tactics, the kind of tactics you would play if you were fighting battles against totally unpredictable opponents, right? If the game goes multiplayer, these kind of tactics will help you defeat human opponents as well, not just the computer opponent. So we're going to see what the Khuzait do here. I've got the 7th Cavalry, is not very big. I'm going to have that following me. And then we'll also have the 3rd Cavalry coming up just in case the enemy is dumb enough to circle that rock with their horse archers. I got my 6th and 8th Corps back here ready to kill, right? These guys are foaming at the mouth. And they're not circling heavy. They are coming up, but it does not look like they're going to take the far left flank. And if that's the case, we're going to adjust our tactics based on what they're doing. Now, horse archers will run up. They'll kind of skirmish at 80 to 100 yards. They'll fire some arrows and they'll pull back if they don't feel like they can circle around us here. So we've held fire. We just opened fire because now that they're close enough, we're going to take some shots. Okay, so they're wheeling. So we're going to shift tactics here. In fact, these guys, their archers are retreating across this bridge. Let's see. They got a nice vanguard set up here. Okay, so they're playing this in an unusual manner, which is perfect for this series. We will have other videos where I show you how to deal with them in the open field here. Fly in here like a maniac, kill some of them as they retreat. But we're going to set up a different tactic here. Because their archers are across the bridge there, I'm already getting devious with plans here. I think what we're going to do is set up our archers on the far ridge, on this far bank to the enemy's left. And what we're going to try to do, it's actually to the enemy's right, our left. What we're going to try to do is mitigate the fact, nullify the fact that they're sending their archers across the far river over there. What I'm doing is I'm going to move the 4th, 5th, I think we'll send the 8th. Basically our ranged units with the cavalry with one wave of heavy horse. Let's wipe this noble out. With one wave of heavy horse across this bridge as protection, and then we're going to keep our skirmishers, our 1st, 6th, and I think I signed the 2nd Division on this side of the bridge. Right now, this is a dangerous tactic. We're separating our forces. We are momentarily defenseless as far as the archers are over there without infantry support, and the infantry and cav are over here without archer support. But I have a plan for this battlefield. Right now we're just doing some skirmishing. That includes cutting the head off of some of these insolent scum Khuzait. But again, the strategy I'm trying to explain that I'm going to employ here, let's cut off some of their cavalry that are trying to escape too. Oh, this is a beheading-ish episode here. We're cutting off heads left and right. What we're going to try to employ is the fact that they've sent their archers all the way onto the far side of that other bank. They want us to come attack, right? We're not gonna. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go across this bridge, and we're gonna set up our archers. I got kind of jammed up in my own troops here. We're gonna set up our archers so that we can pound their infantry, and then we're gonna close in on them on the closest side with our infantry, and basically negate their large archer advantage over there. Now see, they got some heavy cav over here, so we'll send our 8th and our 2nd cav just to kind of attack those guys and push them back. Because what I'm going to do here, see their infantry across there, I'm going to set up my archers on this hill opposite of them, and we'll be able to get flanking fire across this river. We got to get rid of some of these cav that they have over here, but this is a small force. This looks like it's 30, maybe 25 cav over here, and very quickly we can kill or push those guys out of here. So now we start to set up our plan. Archers on this ridge, both of them spread. You can see their horse archers, right? They'll be trading fire with the horse archers. So we'll probably try to use a cav branch over here to give them a shield. I don't know if you caught that. We're going to put the 3rd cav right over there. And I'll also put my 8th corps. Most of my 8th corps, and that guy made a nice dodge. Most of my 8th corps has ranged weapons, so we can put them across the bridge there, and they can also deal damage with the 4th and 5th corps. Meanwhile, we're going to approach the enemy at an angle over here with a cav division, 1 infantry division, that's the 1st infantry, the heavy division, and then our skirmishers, and try to essentially pin in the enemy while they're being shot across the river. See, our archers across over there are going to be raining death. Now that's very unexpected. They are charging up with their infantry. Alright, so we're going to adjust tactics again here. Let's see. I've got a nice unit there. And they are. This is a mistake. This is an AI mistake, but a real human opponent might do this too. We've got a perfect opportunity here. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull our infantry back, our infantry and our cav division, and our skirmishers behind us. I know, behind where I'm standing right now. I know that probably seems strange. It looks like we're running from the enemy, but here's the reason. See my archers over there? Those archers will now be shooting into the backs of the horse archers that are pursuing us, and this infantry block, this 114 guys, that's very soon to be many less guys standing upright. I've got 2 divisions of archers over there and the 8th Corps that will be able to deal devastating aerial fire to those troops, right? Arrows in the back, and at their weakest moment, then we can attack them with our infantry and cav over here. The further they pursue us, the more they're going to get killed, though, right? They're basically, they're chasing an opponent while they're being annihilated from behind. So forming up our infantry in a shield wall here, skirmishers behind them, right? And I do have 1 cav division over here, which we'll probably use to flank at some point. I'm going to use some slow-mo in this battle because you can already see how vulnerable the enemy is. You see the arrows flying in? Well, their shields are facing the wrong way. They're trying to protect against the projectiles with their shield wall, but they're getting pounded in the back by our archers that are behind them. Right, so they've effectively fucked themselves here. Now, of course, we've used these tactics. We've put them in that spot. A lot of people might have just thrown their melee in there and how to fight. But what we're going to do here is try to use tactics to the most advantageous possible situation we can. Now, our troops are faster. My 1st infantry is a little slower, so I'll give them a little bit of distance between the enemy. But my 6th skirmishers are really fast. They can back up and backpedal out of this fight before the enemy can reach them. So the enemies, they got even more reinforcements coming in. Well, that's because their first wave was heavily damaged already. I'm now dragging this cav division. Before their reinforcements come through, we're going to drive it right through their fucking infantry here. Let's massacre as many of the guys that are retreating as we can, right? Before they can join up with the rest of their compadres, the rest of their band here, we're just going to plow through here. The arrows are still raining through and causing great damage. And again, we're going to pull them back. I'm going to pull my infantry back, the 1st and the 6th. I'm going to keep on pulling these guys back because, again, they have archer support. It's just not direct, right? It's across a river. Sometimes you have to think of the battlefield a little bit more dynamically than just while they're across the river and there's no aid for those troops. Look at the screen is all green, all the enemy dying. Now they got 208 infantry, and just like before, they're committing the same mistake. They're pouring in. Their horse archers are only modestly effective. Right? They're shooting across the river there. They're going to get some kills. But their infantry vanguard here, 204 guys, is fucked. They're being shot in the back. Anytime I want, I can charge them with cavalry. And of course, in the front, they got a few cav behind our infantry divisions. That's fine. They're going to take a beating back there. Now look what's happening here. Their infantry is actually going across the bridge. Well, that's a mistake too, because I can move up my units behind them, cut them off from their support, and then plow them with cavalry and infantry. They're still being shot. Right? These guys are being pounded with arrows. You can see the arrows flying through. They're kind of indecisive. They're like sort of trapped between two different situations here. Right? Real life people would be fucking absolutely terrified. They would realize at this stage that they're in bad shape. So we attack here. The infantry's tearing through. I've got cav following me. Their divisions are kind of in chaos and panic at this stage. We've got enfilade fire. Oh, actually worse than enfilade fire because it's like behind them. Right? These guys are getting shot in the back. These guys are getting trampled by heavy horse. And their archers, remember this whole time, their archers are like on the other side of the bank. I can't see them over there. They're probably panicking and running up, trying to catch up to the battle. But they've been isolated this whole time. So their whatever 120 archers is just watching their fellow Khuzaits just being massacred and beheaded. I mean, it's a massacre. So they're sending another big wave, and I assume in there are some I see some archers, some horse archers. This is 240 archers. So some of their archers are kind of strewn out along the bridge to the south there. They might be trying to approach us on this bank. And if they approach us on this bank, that's fine, because my troops have that ridge. That ridge will protect them from arrow fire until the enemy's right up on them. And then if the enemy attacks them at that stage, here, let's pull these guys back. If the enemy attacks them at that stage, they'll be very close. And of course, our high-end troops, high-end Battanian Fiend champs and companions will be more than happy to fight hand-to-hand with the Khuzaits. So rinse and repeat here, right? I'm doing the exact same thing. You should recognize it by this point. I'm stretching my 1st and 6th out. I am going to encircle this foe this time, though. We're not letting these troops escape. They're still being pounded by arrows. All these guys spread out here. This is some of their archers that are finally moving up. They're getting shot in the back. These guys don't know where to shoot, right? Do we shoot at archers across the river? Here, let me run you over, dude. Or do we go after this infantry? Of course, they're shooting my infantry into a shield wall, right? These troops couldn't be in a worse spot. Shot in the back, ran over by cavalry, and running towards melee, who are very happy to send them to an early death, right? This is a very bad situation for the enemy. So one more diabolic attack here. We're going to use some cav here eventually to circle through. Some of these guys are close enough to fight, and it's a small enough a number. Let's see, it's 101. We're going to engage in melee here while our cavalry circle around behind and slam in for one more devastating attack. I'm going to break out my axe. At least, I got to break out my axe at least once, right? I got like an itch. Like if I wake up in the morning, don't get a little caffeine, and kill some people with my axe, it's just not a good day. But this cavalry's charging in, you can see in slow motion. Just obliterating any of the guys that are in their backfield. Look at the death screen. It's a bunch of green as they get trampled by heavy horse. And in we go. Give them hell! They're getting ran over by horses. It's a very bad day to be a Khuzait. Now there's even more forces coming up. So we're going to do, again, I can't move my cavalry. There's sometimes this gets a little buggy. If the enemy's nearby, it won't let you move units out. All right, so we're going to send the 3rd Cavalry over there. If I can here, I'm going to grab a horse, and we're going to do one more horse stampede just to finish off this force. We're moving our 6th and 1st back again. Again, I'm trying to fight these battles, these tactical series, these freestyle series in exemplary manner, where we basically there's no such thing as a perfect battle, but try to run these as if we have to suffer as few losses as possible. So I've got a really slow horse. This is not going to be ideal. And I'm killing my own guys. I'm excellent at that. I probably kill a quarter of the guys that we lose each battle, just spiking them with javelins. So we're going to swing this cav corps around and try to ram it right up the ass of that last, it looks like it's about 180 infantry. I just sent my melee into attack. That's the 1st and the 6th. Getting jammed up here on fucking horses. Not quite the blazing cavalry charge that I was hoping for, but it's still going to be effective. So while those infantry divisions attack, they're still being shot in the rear. I mean, it's incredible how they're still being shot in the rear. And we're going to charge in here with cav. We'll run through here in slow-mo and just trample some guys. You see they're getting like 1 kill in every 20 kills, right? It's just a screen of green. Look at this heavy cav is trampling them. And the massacre is complete. So I promise you folks, I know a lot of people want to see a video of the Khuzait against any side really. Imperials is the most requested. They want to see that in the open field. I am doing a series of custom battles, so we'll release something like that soon of Khuzait versus Imperial. I'll probably play the Imperials in the open field, but hopefully this adds to your tactical tool bag. The more tools, the more tricks you have in your tactical, in your brain, right? The more things you have memorized, the more things you have sort of in the back of your mind for different situations, the better prepared you are to handle whatever the enemy throws at you. Right? You can think of it like chess. If you know 6 opening moves in chess, and I know 40, you lose, because I probably know all 6 moves that you know, so I'm going to be able to counter whatever you do. And my 40 moves are going to be wholly new to you. They're going to be things that you're unexpected. They're going to be dynamic tactics that just give you fits that you can't counter. And that's the difference, folks, between winning and losing these kind of tactical battles. The guys like Napoleon, they became more and more dominant throughout their career. And just like a video game, right? You get experience, your leadership goes up. Well, that's true to life. At the beginning, Napoleon was a little clumsy in some of his battles. He was saved by great cavalry charges, for example. But he got better and better and better. And late in his career, even when they were outnumbered hugely, like 3 or 4 to 1, the enemy was still quaking in their boots because they knew that Napoleon was going to throw out chess moves that they had never seen before, and that they were going to have a hard time countering them. Right? They were basically going to face a daunting tactical approach every time they fought Napoleon, because he had such a wealth of experience, right? So these videos, what I'm really hoping you can gain out of them is more tools. Here's our death kill. So we lost 170. I would have rather lost less than that, to be perfectly honest, but still outnumbered 40%. I think that's very, very successful. But the more tools you have, the better, folks, you're going to do, and that's what I'm here to offer you, fellas. So thanks again for watching. Please subscribe, like, all that stuff, and I'll see you fellas next time.